He's under pressure and battling for his political survival. As Pakistan faces one crisis after another, opposition groups are calling for President Musharraf to quit. So, can the embattled general survive? This is Inside Story. Hello, I'm Darren Jordan. Well, he's one of the most embattled leaders in Pakistan's history. So what does the future hold for President Pervez Musharraf? Meeting in London, the country's main opposition leaders are calling for an end to his military rule and the restoration of democratic government. It comes after an apparent attempt on his life on Friday, when shots were fired from a rooftop at his aircraft. Musharraf has faced at least 4 assassination bids in the last few years. And all that as the siege at Islamabad's Red Mosque continues, where government troops have spent a week locked in a bloody standoff with Islamic students. So just who are the opposition to General Musharraf? Well, among them are some faces that used to lead Pakistan. Nawaz Sharif is a former Prime Minister. Musharraf overthrew him when he seized power in 1999. Benazir Bhutto heads up the Pakistan People's Party, or PPP. She's been Pakistan's Prime Minister twice and has been convicted of corruption charges and money laundering. Both these politicians are calling for free and fair elections in Pakistan and for permission to return from exile. Strong opposition also exists inside Pakistan. The MMA, a coalition of 6 religious parties, is the largest opposition group in Parliament. And what other challenges is the president facing? Well, the standoff at the Red Mosque is just the latest. Musharraf faces resistance and calls for autonomy in the tribal areas along the Pakistan-Afghanistan border. Over 90,000 Pakistani troops are stationed there, fighting al-Qaeda and Taliban forces, and come under regular attacks, like the suicide bomb which killed several soldiers on Friday. Since March, Musharraf has faced opposition to his decision to suspend Pakistan's Chief Justice. The move prompted large protests in cities across the country and fresh calls for democracy. Many protesters called on Musharraf to step down and for an end to the military regime. Well, we're joined now by our guests. In Islamabad, Senator Tariq Azim, Pakistani Minister of State for Information and Broadcasting. And from Dubai, Javed Malik. He's a political analyst and executive director of the World Forum. Gentlemen, welcome to the programme. Ambassador Azim, let me start with you, if I may, there in Islamabad. What are you making of this opposition meeting in London? And do you think any kind of consensus will emerge from it?
Let me first of all correct you when you said people who are attending include Benazir Bhutto. This is not an all-party conference, as has been dubbed. It, at best, you can call it an opposition parties conference, and at that, some opposition parties conference, because not everybody is present there. Those who are present there, some of the parties are just one-member party, not having any representation either at the national level or at the provincial level. These are the facts. So I think I better get that right. Also, you mentioned that General Musharraf is trying to fight the local, all the opposition. Well, the reason is that he's a very strong leader, and some of the issues that he have taken up, others try to avoid those issues and never address those issues, although they were major issues facing the nation. And they avoided them because they didn't want to take on the opposition. They didn't want to, and they did it because of political convenience. He's the one person who has taken them head on and tackled them. And of course, there are many issues that still need to be tackled, but I'm sure we'll be able to tackle them and resolve them.
OK, let's bring in Javed Malik there in Dubai. Javed Malik, the only thing that appears to bind the opposition together is their common desire to oust President Musharraf. The difficulty, of course, will be agreeing on how to do that.
Right. Well, the minister has downplayed the APC when he has said that it's, an opposition parties conference. Well, the opposition parties does include most of the parties that are in opposition at the moment. And in terms of People's Party, although Benazir Bhutto is not there, but her party is there, the high party leadership is there, led by the party leader, Makhdoom Amin Fahim. In terms of binding the opposition together, you're right when you say that, Darren, that one of the reasons why President Musharraf has continued to stay in office is the lack of unity that we've witnessed among the opposition parties. And the minister will, of course, take credit for that, that they've been able to engage parts of the opposition with them whereabouts sort of rumors of a underhand or a back channel deal going on with the People's Party, which has been dismissed by both sides as nothing but disinformation. But yes, the lack of unity has something which is something that the current government has ridden upon. And what is being expected right now from this APC is that some kind of consensus can emerge, and as far as I understand, the meeting has just concluded its last session, and there is a strong degree of likelihood that such a unanimous declaration may emerge, although it's still too early to say.
All right, well, let's bring him back, Tariq Azim, there in Islamabad, because I want to ask you, there is concern, though, that once elections are held, any alliances that are formed here will possibly break apart. I mean, do you think the opposition parties have found it hard to create any kind of real structure to challenge the president?
Well, that has been their problem in the past. The opposition parties, they have this alliance. This is only a marriage of convenience. And you'll see, I think I agree with you, as soon as the election schedule is announced, they'll go their own way. They have got different ideologies, lots of differences. And I only suspect that it is only for their common opposition, let's say to President Musharraf, that they have joined hands. But come election time, I think they will go their own way.
Let me just ask you quickly, Ambassador, about Benazir Bhutto, because of course all the rumours are that she's secretly negotiating some kind of deal with President Musharraf to have corruption charges dropped and return as Prime Minister perhaps for a third time. Is that going to happen, do you think?
Well, I read from the newspapers and the interview that she has given a couple of British newspapers that she is trying to get some sort of an arrangement made with President Musharraf. Of course, she does not want that to be known here in Pakistan, because all along she has maintained she will not talk to a military man. But unfortunately, which is sometimes very irritating to her followers here in Pakistan, that she is unknown to them, talking to and trying to make some arrangements with the military leadership here in Pakistan. Whether it will come to anything, I cannot predict. But if she wants to come back to Pakistan, she is most welcome. She's been twice elected Prime Minister of Pakistan. But first of all, we need to make a change in the Constitution. The Constitution does not allow a third term. For that to happen, she will have to have a support of the two-thirds majority of the National Assembly, and that will mean changing the Constitution. And that, again, all depends if her party does win the election and wins handsomely, having two-thirds majority in the National Assembly, for that to happen.
Javed Malik, that's a very interesting point that Ambassador Azim makes, because the Constitution would have to be changed if Benazir Bhutto came back. But what are you making of this supposed deal that she's tying up, this power-sharing deal with General Musharraf?
Well, you know, the minister, of course, mentions that he's heard it or read it in the interviews in the foreign press, but some of his cabinet colleagues, ministers in the current government have also gone on record and said that such a deal is in progress. In fact, but I must say that very clearly, Darren, that this has been denied by both sides, although it is being sort of dubbed as rumours. In terms of the real issues here at the moment, if I may, is that whilst the minister, of course, paints a picture whereby he says that it's a marriage of convenience, calling that, of course, to the opposition. But many analysts do feel that the current government is also a marriage of convenience, where people have united together primarily to stay in power. And the current government, of course, comprises of some of the colleagues of the former Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto and some of the former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, and of course others that are maybe more independent. But the challenges that are facing the current government are not just limited to the opposition parties conference that is taking place in London, but also you may have noticed that the Lal Masjid crisis, which is, of course, we've been seeing a standoff at the siege in this mosque in Islamabad, which is, of course, now on its 7th day. We still don't know what the outcome will be. There is imminent danger that there may be further loss of life, and people who have waited patiently, and of course credit goes there to the government too. The minister is listening, that they've been very patient in terms of avoid the loss of human life. But it's eminent that this may happen, and how would that, what kind of a reaction that might attract among the people is something that remains to be seen. And secondly, the judicial crisis, something which has been ongoing, and we discussed it in this program a few days ago. We are expecting that a decision may be likely in this judicial crisis in the next couple of days, which may also throw further challenges to the president and his government.
Okay, well, let's bring him back, Ambassador Azim there in Islamabad, because President Musharraf, as Javed Malik was suggesting there, he's battling his worst domestic crisis since he took power. Obviously, there's the standoff at the Red Mosque. There's huge public support for the Chief Justice, the issue of autonomy in the tribal areas. Can he survive all this, do you think?
Yes, absolutely. Why not? People in the opposition would like it to look as if there are many issues, and these are very serious issues, and there are major challenges. There are always challenges, and it is always for good top leaders, to face those challenges. Issue regarding the Chief Justice, there was a judicial issue which he had to refer, as per the Constitution, to the Supreme Judicial Council, which he has done. We have said time and again, whatever is the decision made by the highest court in the land, run by the full court, that means all the top judges of Pakistan, whatever is the verdict, we will accept it. I mean, these verdicts should not come from the streets. People should not pressurize them, pressurize the judges. Whatever the judgment comes, we will abide by it. And those people who talk about strengthening the institution, strengthening the judiciary, talk about the supremacy of the judiciary, they should also follow our example. They should also say whatever the judiciary decides, which should be acceptable to us. So as far as that is concerned, I don't see it as a major issue. If the Supreme Court reinstates the Chief Justice, so be it. But I think what has happened is because the opposition could not find any other issue, so they jumped on the bandwagon, having criticized the Chief Justice himself many a times, criticizing even his judgments. Now they found that maybe there's an issue on which they can hang their courts. They have decided to follow all the recent events related to the Chief Justice issue. But I think once there is a judgment comes out in the next couple of weeks, we will accept whatever it is, okay, whatever verdict comes with it.
Okay, let's put that point to Javed Malik in Dubai and ask, how divided is the opposition? Because rifts seem to be emerging already about what levels of support to give to the issue of Iftikhar Chowdhury and his campaign. Does this underline how divided the opposition is, because they can't agree as to what to do?
Yeah, in terms of when you look at the opposition in Pakistan, primarily it comprises of two main components. One is, of course, the ARD, which again is an alliance of two main parties, which is Pakistan People's Party and Pakistan Muslim League N, both led by two former prime ministers, in addition to some other parties too. And then, of course, you have another alliance, which is MMA, which is the Muttahida Majlis-e-Amal, sort of an alliance between the religious political parties. Now, there are differences between the People's Party and these religious parties on two issues. One, of course, on the ideology, whereby People's Party considers itself as a moderate party and, of course, does not wish to align itself with what they may refer to as religious extremists. On the other hand, there is a democratic issue too that has divided the opposition. People's Party and the leader of their party has said that since the MMA are already in government in Balochistan, which is a province in Pakistan, as well as, of course, the frontier too, but Balochistan primarily in coalition with the current government. And also they have a very negative connotation when it comes to their role on the 17th Amendment, when the MMA sort of supported, or rather abstained from a parliamentary vote, which enabled an amendment to the Constitution, which is the primary reason why President Musharraf and the government, of which the Minister Tariq Azim is also a part of, is currently in place. So that is two issues which have divided the opposition. The People's Party feels that in order to sort of struggle for democracy, they don't want to ally with MMA. This is something which are fundamental differences which have been plaguing the opposition. But just to finish it off, the APC was designed to bring these issues on the forefront and then find a solution. It's likely that that may happen, but there's of course an equal chance that it might not.
OK, gentlemen, stay with us, won't you? Because it's time for a short break now. But when we come back, we'll take a closer look at how President Musharraf will face the mounting threats to his regime. Stay with us.